If I told you that there is a place in hell where there are no flames, no screams of agony, no physical torture, would you believe it? A circle where souls do not suffer as you imagine, but carry a silent weight that may be even more devastating. Dante Alighieri described this place in the Divine Comedy, a territory that almost no one talks about, a forgotten space, misunderstood, ignored by most people. Prepare yourself, because only here on the channel, The Hidden Warning, you will discover the truth about Limbo, the first circle of hell. Today, I am going to reveal 4 facts about this mysterious place, 4 revelations that will destroy everything you thought about hell. And the last fact is the most shocking of all. It will make you question everything. Prepare yourself to face the truth. Let's go to the first fact. When you think of hell, you think of fire, right? Eternal flames, screams of despair, souls being mercilessly tortured, rivers of blood, lakes of sulfur. This is the image everyone has. But the first circle of hell, Limbo, is completely different. Different from anything you have ever heard. Dante crossed the gates of hell with Virgil, the Roman poet who guided him on this journey, at his side. He had just passed through the vestibule, the space before hell, where the neutral souls remain, where he saw souls eternally running after an empty banner. And then he descended. He descended into the first circle. And what he found there left him confused, disturbed, because it was not what he expected. There was no fire. There were no screams. There were no demons torturing souls. What there was a green and serene field. There was no light, but there was also not the complete darkness of damnation. It was something in between, a place that seemed to be between punishment and oblivion. What existed there were whispers and sighs. Constant sighs that echoed through the air like an eternal lament. Dante was perplexed. He looked at Virgil and asked, "Where are the flames? Where are the screams?" And Virgil's reply is one of the most disturbing in the entire Divine Comedy. He said, "There are no flames here. There are no screams here. Only eternal sadness." The environment was a vast, serene, melancholy green field. There was a sense of emptiness, of abandonment, of something that was lost forever and could never be recovered. The souls that inhabited this place did not cry, they did not scream, they only sighed, as if they were eternally mourning something they could never have. Dante described the moment with a phrase that chills the blood. There was no lament there that could be heard, except sighs that made the eternal air tremble. This is Limbo, a place of eternal melancholy, of silent sadness, of absolute absence of hope, but also absence of physical torture. Now let us go to the second fact. And what I am about to reveal now will deeply shock you. It will make you question everything about justice, about condemnation, about what it truly means to be in hell. Because those who are in Limbo are not the great sinners. They are not murderers, traitors, thieves. They are not people who committed atrocities in life. Dante looked around and saw faces, faces he had studied, admired, revered. He saw the greatest names in the history of humanity. Philosophers, poets, heroes, leaders. Homer was there, the greatest poet of antiquity, author of the Iliad and the Odyssey. Aristotle was there, the philosopher who shaped all Western thought. Plato was there. Socrates was there. Julius Caesar was there. Hector, the hero of Troy, was there. Dante was paralyzed. He looked at those immense figures, those men who changed the course of civilization, and realized that they were condemned, not because they had done evil, but because they were born
at the wrong time, because they did not have access to Christian salvation. And this is terrifying. Imagine the cruelty. Imagine living an entire life of virtue, wisdom, goodness, and still being condemned, not to eternal fire, not to torture, but to the absence of God, forever. Take a deep breath, because the next fact will show you something surprising about this place. Now let us go to the third fact. Inside Limbo, there is something no one would expect to find in hell: a castle. A noble castle, illuminated, surrounded by 7 walls. And inside this castle live the great figures of antiquity, the philosophers, the poets, the heroes. They do not suffer torture. They converse, they discuss, they reflect. They exist in a kind of melancholic eternity, where everything is dignified but empty, where there is knowledge but no joy, where there is company but no light. Dante entered this castle and saw an assembly of magnificent spirits. They were gathered in a green meadow, speaking calmly as if they were in an ancient academy. But there was something in their eyes, something Dante could not ignore. It was sadness, deep sadness, the awareness that this was all they would ever have, forever. Virgil introduced Dante to the great masters, and they received him with respect, with dignity. But there was no joy, there was no hope, only melancholic acceptance of fate. Dante looked at those men and felt an indescribable pain, because he realized that even in that noble castle they were eternally separated from the divine presence. Now let us go to the fourth and final fact, and this one will completely change your understanding of what it means to suffer in hell. You might expect that the souls in Limbo would be tortured, right? That there would be some physical punishment, some suffering. But no, there is no torture in Limbo. There is no physical pain. There are no demons. There is no fire. So what is the punishment? The punishment is to live eternally without hope, without the possibility of seeing God, without divine light. These souls know that heaven exists, that paradise exists, that eternal glory exists. They know that something beyond exists, but they will never reach it. They will never get there. They live in a kind of painful awareness. They know that they are almost saved, that they did not commit grave sins, that they do not deserve the tortures of the other circles, but still they are separated from God forever. And perhaps this is the most cruel punishment of all, not the pain that burns the body, but the pain that burns the soul, the pain of knowing that you are eternally separated from what matters most, eternally conscious that something essential has been lost and that it can never be recovered. Today, on the channel The Hidden Warning, you discovered 4 shocking facts about Limbo, the first circle of hell. We discovered that Limbo has no fire or physical torture, that there are the virtuous pagans and the unbaptized, including the greatest names of antiquity, that there is a noble castle where these great spirits live in melancholic eternity, and that the most cruel punishment is living eternally without hope of seeing God. Here, on this channel, you will not only discover, like never before, the secrets of heaven, purgatory, and hell in Dante's work, but you will also understand that the Divine Comedy goes far beyond a literary work. It is a map of the human soul. It is a warning about the consequences of our choices, an invitation to confront uncomfortable truths about life and the responsibility that every decision carries. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. And remember, the soul is the greatest miracle in the world, and on the hidden warning, you will discover truths that can change the destiny of yours.